to be like, here, let's ask questions. It's okay. It's only us anyway. Yeah, I don't know, but I just I want to do this. I feel like it's important. Even if only one person sees it that doesn't have the context for empath. I just feeling called to it. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay. Weird, I've never been interviewed before. No.
Right? I've never really done an official interview either, so we're in good company.
Yeah. Well, hi all. I'm Mary Beth. One of Hillary's good friends, also an empath. And I don't really know what else to say other than
Yeah, there's
hi.
not a lot. It's not like a lot to go into. Just your name. I'm Hillary Van Ness, and I just wrote my very first novel, which is the book page that you're on, Empath Uncovered. And then this is me being silly in the back.
Awesome.
Yeah, me being really happy at a convention. And so yeah, so I wanted to start off each one with each guest asking, well, okay, so there's a change of plans. Initially, I was going to be interviewing you. Um, would you like to share why there was a change, or would you prefer just for us to move on and not talk about why there was a change?
No, it's important to talk about it. Just not having the best mental health day. Number one, ate junk food yesterday. Number two, didn't sleep that well. So everything just feels overwhelming and heightened. So I wanted to be as true to myself and to you guys as possible. So I'm trying to kind of settle down, cool down for that. We'll probably do me at a later date because that's also important to know both sides. But for today, we're gonna do Hillary.
Yeah. And I wanted to respect that. I was going to try to go through StreamYard and just interview myself and do my own questions, because even if nobody watches it live, or not, if they watch it, don't watch it later, if it's just the two of us, I had made a commitment and I felt good about it, and I pulled all these tarot cards that were like, it's gonna be really positive. So I was like really, I was gonna lose the momentum and the like positivity if I didn't follow through with it. So that's why I was like, no, I understand. I mean, I'm bummed, but and the plan was to do this every other week, but if because of the change, then we could potentially do it again next week, next Saturday at 2:30 my time and 4:30 your time. Okay. I'm always like, am I right? I don't know. So yeah. So we could jump right into it. I mean, we both technically have the questions, but and then you can, I guess, pop in whenever you feel like. 'Cause I mean, unless you want to ask me the questions, or I could just be like, this is how I experience it. What are you thinking? Or if you want to.
I mean, I do have them if you want me to ask them to you because I saved them on my phone so I could like review them before.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have anxiety. I appreciate having being able to prepare and come up with ideas and stuff, and doing it for myself now, I'm like, oh, I didn't really like plan. I was gonna feed off of you. So I was like, okay, we'll do it. It's fine. It's just gonna be more off the cuff for me. Which is fine because I talk about it all the time anyway. But, yeah. So
You're more prepared for it than I am because I don't really have anyone to talk about it with except you. So
yeah, I'm kind of the go-to person with people in my life. I've had one or two people come to me and be like, you're the only person I know who uses that term. I think I might be that or whatever. And it was days after I had self-published my novel. So it was like, oh, this is already starting to happen. Okay. I'm not an expert, not a scientist.
we are not scientists. First
We're
off,
not scientists. We are also not copying Kim and Bree at all.
not on purpose.
Yeah. um, well, they have good lines. So, okay, proceed.
Question number one. I only have the empath questions though, not the writer questions.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, because I was figuring when it's two people who identify, well, or like when I have a guest, who identifies as an empath, it would just be empath questions. But if I had somebody who identified as both, then we do both. And I identify as both, but we don't have to do that because it's,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, then.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. What does the word empath mean to you?
Yes, in the short of it, I think it's basically when you take on the emotions of somebody else and you think that they're your own. That was my experience, and I really started to fully understand it, or like start the process. Actually, I have a question of that later, so maybe I won't go into that yet. But like I do that all the time. I get way ahead of myself. But yeah, so basically I think it's like a lot of times I would take on somebody else's emotion thinking it's my own, and then find out later that it wasn't, and that's like the struggle, because it's like, what am I if what I'm experiencing is my own, or if it's somebody else's. And um yeah, so that in the short, it's taking on other people's emotions as your own, and a lot of times thinking that they're yours, not being able to differentiate between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. You concur.
100%. Number 2, how do you experience being an empath in the world?
Yeah, so now that they're to me, I'm like, these are bigger questions than I thought that they would be. Like, I thought they were just like whatever.
When you first tried to have me answer them, I was just like, oh gosh, what am I gonna say?
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
just me.
wait, what?
It's not just me. These are big
Yeah.
questions.
But if especially if you give them to it beforehand, you have more time to think about it. I have not had more time to think about it. Um, but I know that there's different forms, of course. So you could be an outgoing or extroverted empath. You can be an introverted empath. My experience, and typically the people I experience with, I think are introverted empaths, because you need recovery time. And I feel like that's the huge factor of being an introvert, is that you need recovery time. So like how we go to conventions and stuff, it's all this amazing positive energy, and I love it, and it's 3 to 4 days of like the best time of your life in the entire year. And then you go home, and I think, oh, I'll be fine, I'll give myself like one day to decompress. And is it like post-con crud or whatever? No, that's the sickness. But yeah, so it's just like, I'll give myself one day, but really what I need is 2 to 3 days or a week to like fully. And it's all good positive stuff, but it's just exhausting because you're surrounded by all these people who have really heightened emotions, and you have your own heightened emotions, and it's all really positive, but it's just like, by the time you're like, if you don't eat, which a lot of times doesn't happen because you get distracted, then you're just like exhausted. And it's just it's a lot. So then, and I that's even a convention just around one show. Whereas if you go to a convention that has like 5 different shows and anime and like all this other stuff, it's just like really overwhelming. You don't want, and it's like sardines, and and it's just too much system overload. I feel like empaths get system overload a lot. So it's just like needing some time to your own. So some I'm a part of some empath like support group pages, and um I think that there are definitely varying levels of everything. So like some, it might be really difficult to go outside or go to the store or whatever. I feel like I'm a lower level of an empath, so I experience things. But for me, it's more of like, if I'm have a connection to somebody, or I'm like really close to somebody, it's easier for me to understand that I'm picking up on emotions. Otherwise, I go out into the world and I'm just tired from being near people. But it's not like I go and I stand next to somebody and I'm like psychic and I know exactly what they're experiencing. It's not a superpower in that way, which I
No.
think people would assume it is. But it's just like, I might be like, ooh, I was fine, and now I want to like slit somebody's throat. What the hell just happened? Like, oh, I was standing next to this person who's having a really bad day, like, but I don't know that. So it's I went from being normal to being like crazy, and I don't know what changed, and it was because I went out into the world. Yeah. It's like, stop talking.
No, that was good. That was
what it's gonna be. I'm gonna talk and you're gonna be like, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah. But no, it's so right because it is a superpower, but it's not a superpower where we know what they're thinking. It's just that you feel their emotions. You don't know why they're having that emotion. You don't know what happened to cause that emotion within that other person, but you feel it and you don't know why. Like you don't necessarily know who it came from either right away. So, yes.
Yeah, and actually to bring that to the novel, I think that that's enough. I had this idea for years about having a superhero that was an empath. I think it was before I even had the context of what that empath was a word that you could use to explain things.
Mhm.
But it was like it just never worked because it was like, no, I don't want to be like Superman because he has all the powers and I just, like, but I don't like what's being represented out there. I mean, even Star Trek had a like empath type character. My mom had to tell me about that because I was young and I don't remember. But I went back and I looked, and yeah, but they are all powerful in their own way, but comparatively to everybody else in their world, they're weak. And I don't like that. I didn't like that, and it's getting a little bit better. Like I think there's an empath in the Flash, but they try to keep her out of the drama, not drama, but yeah, it is drama. But they try to keep her out of the like the fighting and all of that, and so to protect her, but she could be helpful, I think. And then, there's that character in the Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy that has the like antennas.
Mantis, yeah.
Yeah. And she's technically powerful. I mean, she makes him fall asleep and he's this huge, big, like godlike creature, but that still doesn't come across as a really powerful thing. It's a moment where she has a big power, but I don't. Yeah, so it's just like it's I feel like we are lessened, and it's also like being a woman too, you're lessened for having too much emotion. So I did get off on a tangent, but um
We do
so
that.
yeah, did you ask a third one or am I imagining things?
No, I have not gone to the third one yet.
Okay. Just checking.
You're good. Okay. Does that mean you're ready for number three now?
I think so. Yeah, I was like, did I answer it? Yeah, being in the world. I got
Beautiful.
distracted, but it's fine.
All right. Well, number three. What was your journey to realizing and embracing that you identified as an empath?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact like timing of when I did. It's been a few years that I have been like, okay, I'm an empath. So technically I'd say I'm still fairly new to it. And it was a struggle because, again, I joined all of these pages and it was like, oh my gosh, these things that I was experiencing that I thought I was just a part of me and who I am, these other people are experiencing too, and they identify as empaths. And I kind of had heard the word before and I was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm that too. And oh my gosh, I relate to these. It would like gave me a sense of community that I'd never had before. And I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. This is an actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And on one of the pages, trying to figure out how much I want to share about that, um, I had somebody tell me, actually, I don't know if it was an empath page or if it was a supernatural fandom page, but it was a supernatural fan who basically told me that I needed to do more research because I didn't suffer the amount that she suffered, so I probably wasn't an empath. Um, and in my perspective, anybody who is an empath would never say that to somebody else because you understand the pain, your own pain that you've experienced, and then you understand other people's pain because you're empathetic and an empath because you can't have one without the other. Other people can be empathetic without being an empath, but you can't be an empath without having empathy. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I just was like that. I was just starting to be like, I'm an empath, I'm an empath. And then all of a sudden somebody's like, you should do more research because I suffer from this and this and this, and I have all these different levels of being an empath, and I don't think you are because you don't suffer as much as I do. And I don't know if she said it in exactly those words, but that was the extent and the meaning behind what she was saying, and that was how I took it. And so I had to have other friends like bolster me up and be like, I don't listen to her. She's a bitch. Like that's not something nice to say to somebody. You
No,
might have been one of those
yeah.
people that was like bolstering me up, and I just was like, it took me. It's still like I have doubt, um,
Mhm.
because because of other people's judgment, and that's not fair. It shouldn't be like that. It doesn't matter. How you identify if it gives you if it makes you feel seen. And so, and I personally think there's different levels anyway. So it's like just because I'm a lower level and she is like the top or whatever doesn't make my experience any less important or meaningful or
Mhm.
mean, and I'm any less of an empath because she doesn't think I am or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, occasionally I'm like, I still have doubts, I don't it's the whole like again perspective and perception that it's a superpower. So like the people assume, oh well, what's that person thinking? Just like with psychics where it's like, oh, you didn't know this was going to happen, I thought you were a psychic. I'm not a psychic, but just in general that's people's like they
Yeah.
assume things like that. We're not mind readers. It's not like you look at somebody and you know exactly what they're thinking and what they're feeling. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Maybe people who are really in tune and have spent years doing it, but I don't see myself as being one of those people now or in the future. Maybe, but so
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably my journey. I'm definitely more solid in it now because I mean I wrote a book. It's a fiction book, but I wrote it about my experiences, and a lot of the stuff that happened on the street with men is accurate to things that I actually experience with men on the street, except anything where she actually has powers that didn't happen to me. But all the other ones where it's like I didn't have powers, so neither did she, because then it's just like it's ridiculous. And I have nothing. I men are awesome, but it's just like I was just talking to somebody about this. It's just like really frustrating the crappy men that give the good men a bad name.
Mhm.
But I really do believe that there's really amazing men out there. It's just my experience has been mostly with crappy ones. And that's not fair. I want to like invite all of the amazing, wonderful men into my life because I know they're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on what you said about that girl like invalidating your experiences. Like that is not an okay thing to do, especially within the empath community, because all feelings are valid, all experiences are valid. You don't drag somebody down to wherever you want them because they haven't had the same experiences as you. Just because I've seen this comparison in a while, just because you're tired after a 7 hour day or somebody else is tired after a 7 hour day doesn't mean that they're not valid to be tired even after you've worked like a 12-hour day. Different people experience things differently. Like you said, there's different levels within like being an empath. So just because you're more in tune or you've suffered more or you've had more experiences doesn't mean somebody else's experiences and suffering, whether it's more or less, is not valid. Make sure that's out there.
I appreciate that. I especially love when that thing pops up because it's like I have enough judgment for myself in myself and then from other people in my life judgmenting me. I just made up a word. From judging me that it's just like I do that. I'm like, "Oh, you're a mom of two kids and they're young or you have one that's younger and one that's older or whatever and you're tired. Oh, or I say I'm tired and you're like, "Oh, yeah, well, I didn't sleep because my kid was up all night." And then it's like either you are just expressing how tired you are, but it also feels a little bit in like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm not that tired,
Yeah.
because I didn't do any of that. I probably won't ever do any of that. So it's just like, that's hard too. But I love seeing that when it pops up, because I'm like, every time I need to hear it, because I'm like, oh, I'm tired.
Sorry.
Not now, not now. We're busy. Didn't you have to like come specifically for this? So it's like, you should know.
Yeah.
Um,
I told him yeah, it's fine.
Although we did take like 30 minutes to get this up and running.
That was an experience in
Yeah.
itself.
Now we'll just have to do it on the phone, which I hate, but my phone, your iPad, whatever. Unless once you get your laptop words, then we could try using StreamYard, because I think it would be good. I just need to find the closed captions, because I don't know. I couldn't figure it out on my own. So hopefully.
Right. No,
Um,
it's all new things.
yes, new experiences. It's fine.
All right, I'm going to ask you the next question, then I gotta run do something real quick. So I will be back though. I'll just
Okay.
put this down or something. So question number 4. How do you create boundaries for yourself as an empath when you do go out into the world, if you do?
Yes. It's interesting you have to leave for this question, because this is the one I don't have an answer for. This is the reason I wanted to have this question down, because I was like hoping that other people could give me teach me your ways. Like, because I mean, I have a few things I do, but they're after the fact. Like, I'm not really sure how to create emotional, physical, or not, spiritual boundaries around myself before I go. I mean, I could just ask, but but it's just, I feel like it needs to be more than that. And then I have like this, these other, where you like push the energy off of you after your day, and then there's one I really like where you rub your hands together, and then you like imagine a ball, and then you're doing the infinity symbol around your body. I like to do it in front of my chest. And then so I saw that somewhere like written, and then I was like, oh, I like that. And then I can still feel it in my hands, so then I put it on my heart and like push it into my body. So that part I added to my for my own, because it just felt right for me. So whatever feels right for you. um but yeah, that's probably, those aren't necessarily boundaries of how to deal with like once it's been too much, or if you've been out in the world and you're coming home and you're like, oh, I can't. So yeah, that's more of what I've started doing when I need to do it. And then, deep breaths are a thing too that you should do to help you center. um but yeah, those, I'm not really sure how before you go out into the world, besides just calling in your beings or whatever and saying I'd like some support when I go out into the. I've actually noticed on a spiritual level, if you just say I need help, and I know that the beings or whatever, the universe has all the tools and more than I would even know, and I just say help, and then I go and I do what I need to do, it's like the best experiences ever.
Nice.
And when I say I need help on this specific thing and with this relationship, and then it's, I'm putting too many like boundaries on it, and then they can't help me as much as they would. So
Well, I'll be right back.
okay.
I'll let me to ask you the next question first.
Okay.
Okay. Question number 5. Have you ever thought someone in your life was an empath but they didn't identify as one? Or have you met people who have identified as one and you disagree?
Okay. Got it. Yeah, that's a very long two thing answer, or two question, whatever. So I do think that I've met people, or have, yeah, that I've met people who I don't personally myself think are an empath. Um, or I've met people also who I think are, and they don't identify as one, but I would never tell somebody that they aren't one. I would never tell somebody that they are. I mean, I might say I think you're one, because you're like really connected to your emotions and you're really empathetic, and but I'm not I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not technically even skilled in being an empath. This is how I experience things, and how I experience things seems similar to how you experience things, and so I relate to you, and so I feel like you are one, or like this person just did something that I would never have done and just could never understand why somebody would have done something like that and still say that they're an empath. Like if you did that, how could you call yourself an empath? But it doesn't matter what I think of somebody else if they're an empath or if they're not an empath, because the most important thing in my opinion and how I've experienced things is that it's how you identify, because if when I identify as an empath, it created all this community and these people that I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I feel seen and I feel like this is real, whereas I would never want to take that away from somebody by saying I don't think you're an empath or I think you are an empath. I mean, like, it's probably more um, I think it's worse if you were to tell somebody they aren't one. Um, but yeah, I would never want to take away somebody if they feel that that's what they are, if they feel like they identify that way, then who am I to take that away from them? Um, but that's not to say I don't have thoughts and opinions about certain people and think that they are or they aren't, and they wouldn't do things this way if they are an empath as they say they are. But that's again my opinion, my perspective. That doesn't necessarily mean it's fact. It's just how I experience things, and I would never claim to invalidate anybody else's experience, especially because it's been done to me, not just from the one I told you about, but other things that have happened in my life. That's probably why I spend a lot of time invalidating my own emotions, is because I have friends like you and other people who are always like, what you're feeling is valid. Like, it's okay. You're not crazy. Like, I just
Yeah.
every friend I have, or if I have a friend and then that friend dumps me or leaves or something, and then the new friend comes in and they're saying the same thing no matter what. It's like it's all of my friends are always having to validate my feelings, and then I validate their feelings, because it's like the world we live in is constantly judging and invalidating us and our experiences in the world, and it's just like we have to raise each other up because the world is going to crush us if we don't. It's really bad. So
Yes.
yes. Would you like to add anything?
Well, I missed the first part, so
You can go back and watch it later.
probably will. But no, I completely agree with what you said. We can't tear each other down. We need to start building each other up because of the world we live in, and especially now with this pandemic going on.
I did say we weren't going to censor ourselves, just saying.
I feel a little bit better censoring myself a tiny bit.
Yeah, okay,
But
whatever makes you feel good. It's fine.
at least for now. Maybe later we'll get.
Yeah, once we get in the feel of it, yeah.
Yeah. But no, don't don't invalidate somebody else's experiences or emotions. That is the last thing that needs to happen. Build each other up, bolster each other. Just be there. Just even listen or communicate if you're not like saying, "Hey, I'm having a bad day. Sorry, I can't really um be there for you." If you're like if you have a friend saying, "Hey, can I talk to you?" and it's just like, create those boundaries. Like, I can't give you good advice right now because I'm not in the right headspace either, kind of a thing, right?
I don't have the space for you to verbally throw up on me right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes.
And if you
Definitely.
have open and aware friends, then they'll be like, oh, fine, I'll have to find somebody else. But they'll be like understanding.
Exactly. They would be like, but what about my problems? What about my feelings? Then that is not necessarily the best kind of friend to have.
That's only if you're friends with a Karen.
Oh, word.
I try not to be friends with Karens. I've been friends with Karens. So I'm like trying not to do that anymore.
Right. I don't know if I have anyway, that's not important.
Distraction. Oh, I felt like there was one other thing I wanted to share about all of that. I feel like it was in regards to what you were talking about. I don't remember. Um, Can you say what you just said again? What you were talking about, the end of like.
Oh, about having friends that are understanding.
Okay. That doesn't jog my memory. Oh well, I guess it wasn't that important. It just always feels so important when it goes away.
Maybe it'll come back and we'll figure that out. But that was all the questions you sent me. So
Yes, and how long have we? Oh, I have to do a push live. Oh, it's been 30 minutes. That's been pretty good. See, I
oh.
thought if we had focus, we wouldn't be so distracted because we have to focus on what we're like. You were really, really worried that we were because when we just talk, the two of us, like once a week online, it's 3 hours later. Yeah, it was all over the place too. It's
What
like,
were we
wait,
talking
I went over here, and you're really good at keeping track too. It's just you're like you were talking about this and that, and I don't know what your point was going to be, but
We try. It doesn't
yeah,
always work.
yeah. But it's crazy that we've only ever met once in person, and the rest of our friendship has been online because we're like even have a time difference and all of that, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah. Can't wait to spend more time with you in the future, whenever
Yeah.
the world allows that to happen.
Yeah. Whenever it's not crazy anymore.
Yeah, really like to just I'm starting to get really just done. I'm just annoyed and ready for it to be over so I can like start my life with going in a direction I was really excited about, and now it's like not.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I think we'll still technically leave it at like an hour just to give us a buffer. And if it's 30 minutes each time, that's great. But I also don't want to like push us to keep talking about stuff. If it's like, oh, it's been 30 minutes and I said it would be an hour. I feel like that's partly why I'm talking loud and trying to talk fast because I was like, I have so much to say about it and then I'm not going to have enough time. um, so yeah, and then I'll see if I can post it on a bunch of different places because this one is the keeper, and it wasn't like
It
15 minutes
worked.
of me trying to figure out how to get you on. Yeah, I really think it's just not an option on the laptop, and I don't understand why because I have all of these books lifting my laptop up to make it look nice, so it's at a higher level than it normally is, and now it's on my phone. It's like, and I'm still like having to sit up to make to make it so I'm not like a grandma. Oh, what are we talking about? What's going
You're
on
like
here?
in frame for me right now, so
Yeah,
you're good.
yeah. I'm trying. I think I started like here, and then yeah, I don't know. It's fine.
No, it's literally for me. It's cutting you off here, so I don't see anything above your nose.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Even before I went down?
No, yeah. Before you went down, now I see your whole face. Or
Oh, it must be. Yeah, I don't even know. Maybe it'll be different for them too. I when they watch,
I,
they
I,
being people.
I hope they see all of our faces.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I can see mine and I can see you from like here up. But yeah, when it came on, it was like my face was here and I was like, "Oh, I need to find a way to get higher."
Sit up straight. Posture check.
Yeah. Yeah, my posture is much better when I'm sitting on my bed because I don't have anything to lean against. I mean, I technically, whoop, sorry, I just hit my lamp. Um, I don't have a ring light. I have a lamp that I take this off of and then I put it in front of me. So
And
I just hit the
I,
lampshade.
yeah.
But yeah, I technically do have something I could lean against, but it's more of like this than
Okay.
straight. It's like if you're gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I think this went well. I hope people watch it and like it. If not, I guess it's a tester. And then do you want to just like say and plan on next Saturday at 2:30,
Yeah.
4:30, 2:30/4:30 that technically I'll interview you?
Yes. Yeah.
And then so then we'll have I guess 3 weeks in a row because I do have somebody somewhere set up for the third week. I think it should be Amy Chapel. And then I have somebody. Wait, no, that's not. Sorry. I don't know. I wrote second and third. So you were this week. So actually, the next person would be you. And then so my second would be Angela, not Amy. Okay. What? Well, I'll definitely advertise it once. I have the dates, but I just don't have the dates in front of me. They're on my phone, but because this is on my phone, I can't double check. So anyway, what I was trying to say would be, so this week interviewed me, which I actually think works out better than us like trying to, like, you would talk and then I'd be like, oh, I can relate to that, and this is how I experience. I think this is, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
um,
Keep remembering
so
that.
yeah, so this week is me, next week is you, and then so we'd have 3 weeks in a row, and then potentially go to the every other week, which was the initial plan, but that's
Yeah.
maybe better because if things happen, if you know, conflicts or you have to rework things, then then we could just add to that extra week that we have in the middle of each of these. So the first three will be 3 weeks in a row, and then after that, it'll slow down again.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so these will be the questions that I will ask to everybody, um, because it's easier that way. And then now you've seen it done once, and you can talk a little bit longer than I did, in less using my laptop to try to on my phone. I'm just like, that's not what I wanted. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. um, but yes, so next week, what's the date next week? Because I do everything on my phone.
Next Saturday is Halloween. So do we want to do it
Um,
on Halloween or do we want to do it on the 1st? Because I'm okay with doing it on Sunday.
okay. I mean, I don't think I have any plans on Halloween. I mean, I do have the two nieces, so I might do something, but I'm not aware of it.
Well, we can
So it
talk
might
about
be,
it after
yeah,
this.
we could do it on Sunday, but we'll post about it, and it might, daylight savings time will be confusing for everybody, including the two separate time zones. But because it
Yeah.
says daylight savings on my laptop for November 1st. So
Is that really? Oh, well. Okay.
I could be, it's not one of those I put in, it's just automatically there. So
No, it's on my phone calendar as well. I totally forgot that was coming up. Okay.
yep, yep, sneaks up on you every time.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, thanks for powering through and being here for me. I really do appreciate it. I don't have a lot of people who would get really excited to actually be my partner in this, partner in crime, doing this. And I really appreciated your enthusiasm when I was like, hey, it would be nice, because I will do it by myself, but I definitely feel a lot like Jared and needing the support of Jensen and needing the support of Jared. Like, so you're like my Jared in this case. Um, Only supernatural people will get that, but that's okay. So yeah, I mean, I will do it by myself, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate your support. You're amazing. I love you.
Cool. I'm glad that we figured out a way that it could work, even though I'm not 100%, but I could still help you in the some way.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
Showing
very
up to the best
sophisticated.
of your ability and then letting the world know that you're not at your best, but you're still here, which I feel like is important, and especially with mental health in the world today. And of course, with like the pandemic and everything that's going on too, is
Yeah.
just like, of course, we're not ever really in our best. I am, but a lot of people are not ever in their best self. I do struggle a lot too. It happens for sure. Today is a good day because I was excited about this. If you can't tell from my energy level, uh, I don't seem like an introvert or like reserved at all right now, but that's also because I'm with my friend. Um,
You are talking a lot faster than normal.
yeah, yeah. I've noticed, but I can't seem. It's an excitement energy level. I'm having trouble not being, um, but it's also because it finally worked out, and I felt like I got good message. So and I won't be talking as much hopefully for the next ones, and that's okay because I've said what I needed to say, and it should have happened in the first one anyway. And then I can be quiet and ask questions and then listen, and because I've gotten my version of my experience, then I can um, it'll make me a better listener for
Yeah.
you and for everybody that comes after you.
Yeah.
I hope it'll be easy to figure out how to get a third person on here, because hold on. I
I
want to.
think there's
You
like a
can, yeah,
button
I
at
just
the bottom. You can add another one.
request to be in your blog. Yeah, I think it's just so much easier. You can actually make sense on the phone. It's just you can't do it on the laptop.
It
Just
doesn't make sense because
it.
people still have laptops.
Yeah, I feel like laptops are better because they're bigger and you can. Yeah. Don't get me started. I feel like we should probably go. This is the hard part for me is like, okay, so we've been talking and now we need to go, and then like 10 minutes later, okay, we said we needed to go like an hour ago.
Well, I gotta go make dinner, so
Yeah, it is 5:45 for you.
yes, ma'am, you
I'm
got
getting
it.
better. I'm getting better. Okay, well, I will talk to you probably as soon as we hang up, and
Yeah.
because we talk all the time, and I will see you on here again this coming Saturday, which is, or sorry, no, we'll put that in. I keep forgetting it's Halloween.
We'll
So
figure it out the next
we'll
time.
figure out the next day we're gonna do it. It might be our only Sunday because I do want to keep them consistent on Saturdays if we can.
Mhm.
But if since this was like a not confusion, but things change, then we might have one on the first.
Yeah,
I just thought of a conflict I might have, but we'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
No
we'll come up
worries.
with a new time and it'll either be on Halloween or I don't know. I'd like it to be the weekend, but we'll figure it out. Okay. I just have to say that so I'll actually end it.
Right.
Thank you for being here um and for being so energetic and wanting to do this with me, which I've already said. And I will see you and hopefully people who've watched next time.
Well, thank you for having me, and I will say that I feel better already because I was able to talk to a friend.
Yay! Yeah, friends are good therapists or therapy.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes. Okay, I will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.